Hello and welcome to the first video in the series of 3D modeling for 3D printing. The first thing that we are going to learn is how to prepare your settings for modeling for 3D printing. So the first thing, we are going to change this cube because it's huge. It's 2 meters. So we are going to first delete this cube and add a new cube. This cube, the size will be 0.001 meter. Why? Because that's 1 millimeter. And what that enables you is that you can do the modeling easier. How easier? Because it's easier to see the dimension of this cube. So this cube will be as much as you want. Okay, you write here 10 millimeters, it will be 10 millimeters. And now you change 10 millimeters. Okay, so now you have 10 times 10 times 1 millimeter, the size of this object, and you can print it if you want. That's your object. Okay, the next thing that you want to change is this because the origin is in the center. If the origin is in the center, it's really annoying to print to make dimensions and everything, because when it goes, it builds like this and this to both left and right. So what we are going to do, we are going to go to the edit mode and we are going to change this. How do we change it? We change it in this way. So we choose this vertex here, okay, this angle, and then we press Shift plus S and we move the cursor to select it. Okay, now we go back, past tab, you go to the edit mode, to object mode, and now you press right button, and you set origin to 3D cursor. Okay, so now what happens? Now when you make it bigger or smaller, it only goes in this dimension. It's easy to control, very easy and convenient. Okay, so what we are going to do now, we are going to make something, a ladder-like object. So, and we are going to learn how to make something like that. And what do we need to know? For example, I want to make this ladder object, the ladder-like object. It will be 10 centimeters. That means 100 millimeters long. And this 100 millimeters long object will be, okay, it will be, okay, like 2 centimeters in here, and it will be 2 centimeters in here. Okay, so we have some object like this. Doesn't matter, it's just for learning, for trying something. Okay, so what do we do now? So this object is, as we can see here, 100 millimeters, 20 millimeters, 20 millimeters. So what we want to do, we are going to test different tolerances. We are going to put another object into this object. So what we do during the printing, we need to connect the objects and to connect the objects in a right way, to put them, to stick them together, or to stuck them inside and there. And what we need to do, we need to know the tolerances. Okay, let's try. First, what do we do? Okay, we duplicate this cube. This is our cube. Shift, duplicate, G, Z. Okay, and we now make another object that is going to cut through this object. Okay, we make this cube. This cube is going to be like a perfect cube. Let's say 15 millimeters, 15 millimeters, and 15 millimeters. Okay, this is your cube. And what we are going to do, we are going to cut this object here. Cut this object with this object. We are going to do Boolean modeling. Okay, what's Boolean? Boolean means you are going to cut through this object. You go to Z and you move this cube somewhere, wherever you want. Okay, you make it here, and then you are going to put it down somewhere. Okay, and now you're going to scale it up. It's going to cut through here, but we don't want it to cut, and we just want to make the first cut. Okay, this object, the first cut is going to be bigger than this object. Okay, we are going to duplicate, shift duplicate. Okay, what did we do? Now we have two cubes. Okay, and this cube will be bigger. Why? It will be bigger because we need tolerances. We are going to stick one object to another. So this cube will be the cutter. We will just delete it later. Okay, I will show you. Now, this cube, for tolerances, the best one that we are going to try first is 0.2 millimeters. That means you add 0.2 millimeters. So we write here 15.2 and then 15.2. Okay, and for this it doesn't really matter, but if you want you can write 60, or doesn't matter. Okay, so we have your cutter. This is the cutter. The cutter is gonna cut this object. Okay, so now we go to the Boolean, go to modifiers, you add a new modifier, add Boolean modifier. First select this, the object you want to cut, and then you add modifier, add Boolean modifier. Now you choose an object. We choose this cube, the big cube that is gonna cut through this object. Okay, and we apply the modifier. Okay, we apply all the modifiers. Okay, so now what do we have? So now this thing has a hole inside, a hole. Okay, so this hole is going to be where you are going to put, not this object. This object is the cutter, but this object, it has 15 times 15 millimeters. So this object, when you print this object, it's gonna fit perfectly into this place. Why? So that means that it's going to be, you will be able to put it perfectly into this place. I mean, it's gonna stay inside. That means when you pull it, to try to pull it out, it will not go out easily. Okay, so now we are going to try to make it even more stick inside. That means that you just stick it inside and it never goes out. Okay, let's say. So what are we going to do? We are going to duplicate this, shift duplicate, G X, and we are going to try to make another cut here, but this cut, it will be different. What is going to be different? Here we are going to add 0.1, so it will be really thick, sticking inside. Okay, 15.1, 15.1. Okay, and again we do this, we do the Boolean. Okay, let's try. Okay, again Boolean, add modifier, Boolean, and object. Now it's this object, and apply all modifiers. Okay, so what we have here, we have this object, and we are going to print these three things together, and we are going to try how they stick inside this another object. Okay, so these things are going to be your model, very easy model, and we are going to test the tolerances. So in order to print this thing, we are just going to export one by one. Okay, this and this. Okay, 3 objects. We don't need this because this was only used as the first cutter. Okay. Okay, let's see. This one, after we made that hole, we are going to make this one. Okay, we are also going to delete this one because we don't need it really. And what we are going to print? We are going to print 2 of this and 1 of this. And then we are going to try to stick it inside this hole and see the tolerances. Okay. Okay, so now I imported the STL files into my slicing software, and I'm going to print those, prepare them for printing. Okay, so I need 2 pieces of this object, Control C, Control V, and I need to lay them on this side so it's easier to print, and this one I will lay on this side. Okay, now I'm gonna arrange them on the table. Okay, and now we are going to show the preview. Okay, so we have these 3 pieces, and now we are going to just export the G code and use it on printer. Okay. Okay, now let's try. The left hole is with 0.2 tolerance. It goes in smoothly, but the other one with the 0.1 tolerance, you need to use more force to put it in. Okay. So when you see this one, it will go all the way through the 0.2, but for 0.1 you will need to use a very large force to put it in. Actually, it doesn't go anymore. Okay,